These questions, man, I don't even know how to answer some of this stuff. What's the best assault pack in your opinion? I've never done an assault. How do I know?
I can answer that.
Hey guys, welcome to Gear Tasting. Today I wanted to start off talking about some trekking poles. So weather's getting better, you might be heading outside. I'm a huge fan of trekking poles. They make you look cooler, obviously, when you're on a trail, so that's very important when you're outside. But I wanted to go through, I guess, my history with trekking poles. I've done that a little bit on past Gear Tasting before, but I'm starting to really geek out a little bit on trekking poles and get into them more. I guess now I have 5 sets of them in front of me, which is the progression of how many I've kind of looked at through the years. So I want to kind of talk directly about each one just a little bit and kind of compare and contrast them and why I've come to what I've come to so far, and why I'm not giving up and sticking to anything currently. So I started out basically having these Lifelink poles. Lifelink's a brand that is really not around anymore from what I can tell. I'm not sure. If you guys know anything about that, post it up. But I feel like I remember reading that they were attached to a company that was also doing some boots or something like that at some time. And for the life of me, I can't remember the garment maybe or something like that. But anyway, so I first started out with these. These are like a two-piece pole. So basically you twist them and you can compress them like this so they can't get any shorter than this type of measurement here. I found soon that as I was traveling and going places, this kind of stunk as far as like what was where I was able to put these in terms of luggage and things like that, or even in the car. So I looked into a triple pole. So basically it has 3 sections. So it breaks apart 2 different places, and if I didn't bend it at one point, it would compress down a little easier. But it compresses down into 3 sections, and things that I hate about poles are that exactly what right there. So you pull them a little too hard and it comes right out. And then what I wound up doing as I was hiking, I can't remember what I was doing or where I was, but if you can kind of see as I rotate that, it just completely bent. I think I stuck it down somewhere and it got stuck and just flexed like this, and then just kind of wound up with a bend in it. So I started looking into different poles. So actually where this all kind of started was that the Lifelink poles, I geek out about replacement parts and things like that. I always like to keep those kind of things around for in the eventual scenario where something breaks, I can replace it. And that's what was going on with this set. So I found out that Lifelink didn't really offer replacement tips for these, and then I started just saying, oh well, I want a triple pole anyway, so I wound up buying these. And then I hiked the crap out of these. As you can see, there's almost nothing left in terms of the actual grip part, or I don't know what you call that, the tip of the hiking pole. And then the geez, I'm horrible with terminology, obviously. Maybe someone can help me out here. The rubber part that prevents things from getting up into or getting stuck on the pole, which is what that acts as. Obviously that got ground down too. So I wound up not being able to buy those replacement tips. I was like, well, I'm gonna have to get something, so I bought new poles. And then I went to these black diamond poles, which I kind of hated. I just didn't like the feel of them too. Granted, I mean, if you look at the rubber grip, it was very similar to what was on the Lifelink poles, and you can almost see that could have probably almost been made by the same manufacturer on that grip handle right there. Those are both rubber. They almost look like they're made from the same mold and everything. So that's what you'll find with hiking poles. Sometimes they do look very similar, as you'll see in a second. But went with those, didn't like them at all, and you can see I've hardly used those whatsoever, maybe like 1 or 2 trips or something like that. And then recently, I kind of came across these Foxelli poles on Amazon, and I was like, well, they're readily available on Amazon. They're only $60, so if I screw them up, I can just buy new ones even if I can't find the tips. And that's what I used like when I was at the Mammoth Sniper Challenge a while back. And they worked really well. I had an initial problem with them where when they were extended, I was getting some vibration in them, and that's one of my big tests. So I kind of put witness marks on these too, which is something, a little tip that you can do. You can add witness marks on where you extend these to all the time, and that way it's quick and easy to get them back where you need them to be. So one of my tests is that I would take the pole and kind of knock it on the ground like that and kind of see how it was vibrating throughout the pole, because this was getting kind of an annoying vibration. I actually reached back out to them. They sent me a new set, and when I kind of took one of those new ones and put it into this old set, I found two that didn't have any vibration going on. So I also thought that it might be because I had one of these extended so far out and then another hardly extended at all. Actually, it was vice versa. So I had this one all the way extended and then this one kind of almost not. So that's what I thought it first might have been, but that really wasn't the cause of the problem. So that's kind of where I came to with the Foxellies. Another company just recently reached out to us and wanted to send us something for gear tasting, which is this Hiking Bear company. So, and I'm also noticing that these grips are very similar in design as well. So these could be from the same manufacturer. But the other thing I've kind of been looking at too is weight. It's a huge part of this. I feel like even though you're holding trekking poles in your hand, I'm still kind of searching for the lightest weight option. And right now it actually happens to be the ones I just got from Hiking Bear. But these are available on Amazon. And just to kind of compare through the spectrum, the first ones I talked about, the Lifelink poles, these kind of goldish ones, these weigh in at 8.8 ounces for a single, or 1.1 ounces for a pair, or I'm sorry, 1 pound, 1 ounce for a pair. And then you get into these triple poles, and these are sitting about 1 pound, 3 ounces for a pair. Then the black diamond ones are 1.16 ounces for the pair. And that's how that's set up with these plastic inserts on them and everything. So, and then the Foxellies weigh in at 14 ounces for the pair, so now you're getting sub 1 pound on the pair of hiking poles, which is great. And then these new ones I got are 13.4 ounces, so not a huge difference between the two, but it is still lighter weight, so I'm constantly searching for the lighter weight option on those. So far I haven't even had a chance to hike in these yet. I literally just got them in, so all I really did was weigh them and kind of see how the tip works and everything. And I did test for vibration and stuff like that, and I can kind of hear it a little bit in this too. It might be hard to, yeah, you probably can't hear it on the audio from here though. So I don't know, that's a big concern for me, because when I was kind of testing these, and I did, basically when I first got them, I did like a 6-mile loop, and by the end of it, it was driving me insane. Like I could hear the rattling inside of these, and I mean, I don't hike with any music or anything. I like to enjoy nature, so that was kind of a detriment to me on those. But luckily, I emailed them, they fixed the problem, and I haven't had it since. So we'll see what happens with these, but I just wanted to kind of give you an update. And then real quick, price-wise, the Lifelink stuff isn't available anymore from what I can tell, but the black diamond ones are still available. Those run $69.94, I have it written down. Foxellies, these things are $69.97 on Amazon, and then the Hiking Bear ones are $45 on Amazon. So if some of the, I guess, technology and makeup of these Hiking Bear ones are very similar to the Foxellies, that's a significant savings. I mean, that's at least $20 that you could save by going with these if you wanted them. Plus, they're 50% sunshine and happiness in every one of the Hiking Bear poles. It says it right here. They're carbon and 50% sunshine and happiness. So there you go. All right, guys, so I'm joined by Jason McCarthy from GORUCK today, and I wanted to get his opinion, since he's here, on the question we get a lot, which is revolving around the assault pack. So in your expert opinion, what would constitute an assault pack? What's it used for? Why does it exist?
So I don't really understand the notion of an assault pack, right? By definition, if you're going to assault, you're an assaulter. And if you have an assault pack on, you have something in your back which is slowing your movement down into the house with the bad guys in it that you are assaulting, right? So really, if you're gonna go assault, you've got your kit on, your body armor, with your plates and stuff in it, and everything is kind of attached to that, right? So you have all of your ammunition right here. You might have your pistol right here, your secondary weapon, or you might have it in a drop holster, right? Your ammunition, that's what you need to go assault, right? Now, what you will see happen is you'll see one of the medics on the team, they'll have a really, really thin pack, like something like this, right? The reason why, if you were going to be on a raid as one of the assaulters, and you would want to have med supplies, so here they are. The medic has them. You want it to be as thin as possible because in America we take a lot of things for granted, right? Like freedom, and God bless us for that. But it's the doorways are another thing that we take for granted here. In places like Iraq, Afghanistan, where the people are not quite our size of awesome, right? The doorways are like this. You put these big hulking monstrosities of men through these doorways with these big giant 16-day assault pack. I've got a 47-day assault pack on and I'm gonna go get everyone bad, right? Like, you're not gonna make it through the doorway. Like that's the fact. So when I hear 3-day assault pack, I'm thinking like, if you're actually going to go on a mission and you have a ruck full of stuff for some days or weeks or whatever the case may be, and then you're going to go on a raid, you are not going to all assault with your assault packs on. So when it comes down to it, I don't know what an assault pack is. I think it's complete and utter nonsense. It's a way to where everything is tactical, Tactical this, it's a tactical 3-day assault pack, It's like, can we add one more adjective to it so that people will say, yeah, that's what I want? It makes no sense.
I want an assault pack. I want to assault somebody. Yeah, but we get that question a lot because I think people kind of use that synonymously with a small pack that's designed to have a lot of functionality. I think that's kind of the definition that I think a lot of people are thinking when it comes to
right. So the modern day equivalent was, this is I don't know who makes this.
It's a M9 bag from TSSI.
Yeah. So this was probably after my time, but there was an attachment piece, presumably here, that would clip into your actual body armor, right? Like you don't.
So you didn't have to have straps.
You're not using the straps because it's just one more thing to sort of go wrong, because that's where, if you get into a house and you have a medic, right? Eventually it could work out to where the medic ends up in the stack and has to go in and clear the room, right? So you want it to be as absolutely streamlined as possible. The modern day application, at least in Iraq, was the inspiration for what became our pack, GORUCK GR1, was that we would take an assault pack or a go bag, a GORUCK, and we would put it in the trunk of the Humvee. And the purpose for having that, so it would be something like this, but it typically had a little bit more stuff because it wasn't the military version, because it wasn't for assaulting. It was for a go bag. And the go bag in the trunk was, what if Murphy strikes? So what does that mean? Like, your vehicle's disabled and you have to fight for your life, right? So at that point, you might be in it for the long haul. And the long haul, who knows? But you need a lot of extra stuff. You need backups of everything, like radio systems, which are significantly larger, batteries, more significant, weaponry, right? You need multiple weapon sets, multiple different kinds of ammunition. You need grenades, all that type of stuff, right? So then you've got more stuff in your assault pack that you would need in that kind of a 3-day situation. So that was sort of the impetus for this, and still it was designed to be, not big and bulky to where you're going to get caught up in doorways. And we just tried to take the best of that stuff and make it tough, and still it can thrive there.
Yeah, and so, I mean, on an assault, you'd be really limited in what you were carrying anyway in a pack if you're not the medic, right?
Yeah, well, by definition, the more you weigh, the slower you are, right? And, we just sort of did it, but it's like if we're in a stack like this, and he's the one guy, and I've got my stuff here, and I squeeze him to go, like if he's got a pack on, he's got a pack on right here, right? Now I'm here.
Yep.
Now if there's two more of us in a 4-person stack, like we're way back here.
Yep.
If it's just us and all we've got is body armor, right? Then we're like this, and it's like left, right. It's boom, it's done, it's fast, and speed and violence of action, they need to go together.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be fast. So you want to be as light as possible, and I mean, it's kind of a difference between urban warfare and sort of what doctrine is in the patrols and stuff like that of Vietnam, which is still what I learned on. The fundamentals are still absolutely valid, I mean, the fundamentals that you learn in the Special Forces Qualification course about what it is to go on, patrols and raids and for however many days, missions and such, where you have a very large Alice pack and, you're setting up rally points and, all that kind of stuff, but you're leaving your equipment behind or somewhere cached if you're going to go raid a house,
assault,
right?
yeah.
You're not going to bring your 100 pounds of stuff,
Right.
of ammunition and all that stuff on the actual assaulting portion of the mission. So when you are going into a house, when you are going to be assaulting or raiding, whatever you want to call it, you want to be as light as possible. So you want to have as less weight. And when you've got plates and body armor and all that kind of stuff, you've already got a lot of weight on you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you really try to slim down as much as possible.
Oh, it's a great explanation, and probably one not a lot of people have heard when it comes to assault packs. So there you have it. That's the definition of an assault pack. Hey guys, thanks for watching Gear Tasting. A big thank you to Jason from GORUCK for stopping by and talking backpacks with us. As always, use the pound tag Gear Tasting on any social media network if you have questions. We will get them answered here on Gear Tasting. If you like what we're doing on the show, please consider joining our crew leader membership, linked below, and allow us to give you back something in return. Thanks again.